Hi scrapbookers and crafters, this is Michelle at michellesizemore.com, and that has one L in it in my first name. Today we'll learn how to make this super quick and easy border. I use the Autumn Cottage collection. It's our new fall 2024 collection. 3 colors of paper from that with 3 pattern papers. And I use the border maker system with the Rustic Fence border maker cartridge. This, you can't really tell, but it is wavy. So I use the 12-inch decorative trimmer, which I sometimes call Wavy because it's a wavy trimmer. I use that on this green paper, and I use the Autumn Leaves border punch here. So I'm going to set this aside, and the first thing I'm going to cut is this green paper, which is sort of the grass, like the hilly grass. Now these are the papers that I used. And this is what I want the grass to look like when I'm done. Now, I measured the paper at about 1.5 inches. So this is my scrap of paper. The first thing I need to do is to get a straight edge. So I'm going to take my 12-inch trimmer with the straight blade and just get a good straight edge on it. The blade is going to come down on this left-hand side dotted line. I want to save as much paper as possible. The blade will come down right there, which is where it always comes down. I have the straight blade, and I'm just going to cut that off. I'll save that for scraps so that I'll get a good straight edge. Now I'm going to take my decorative trimmer. I want to write down a measurement at 1.5 inches. I still love my old school ruler the best. I just use this all the time. So I'm going to measure 1.5 inches right here at the top to kind of show me where my blade should go. Now I want to use, you can get 2 different waves out of this. I want this wave. I just kind of want a subtle wave. So I'm going to lift this up, place my paper underneath, and this is the line, if you can see, that I'm going to use. So I want to start there. There's my pencil line right where that line is going to start. So then I'm going to close this. Now, oops, I'm sorry. I need to get that a little bit straighter. I'm going to get that straight at the bottom and then get my pencil line where that track is. Well, I just need to move it over a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm trying here. Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, so it's straight at the bottom. My line is right there. Now, when you're using this trimmer, I want to encourage you to start about right here and work your way back first. Because if you don't, if you start here and go down, it tends to rip your paper because the paper is thinner. It doesn't really do it so much with cardstock, but it does do it with this. And then you're just going to cut your wave. So I'm good. There's my wave that I want. The next thing I want to do is cut my rustic fence to look about like this. So I'm going to grab my border maker system, and here's the Rustic Fence border maker cartridge and the border maker system that I need. To use this, I'm going to open my paper tray holder and pop it in place, lift my magnetic arm, place my paper in here, and I like this paper for the fence because it really does look like wood, and the fence is supposed to be wood, so I think that's pretty cool. You could just use brown cardstock, but I like this better. So I place the paper in here where it is level with all the edges of the paper tray holder, close my magnetic arm, and then I need to pop this the paper tray back in place underneath and get it out of the way. Put my cartridge in the cartridge holder with the middle pieces sticking out. Start right here closest to me. I'm going to match up with this notch. There's a notch here and a notch here. And when the notches match up, everything fits in place like a puzzle underneath. And I'm going to punch with the palm of my hand. I give it a really good firm punch. Gently pull it out just a little bit until it plops back in place. Notches match back up and punch. Pull it out just a little bit, match your notches in, and then it fits together. You'll just feel it fit back together and punch. And then I'm going to quickly finish the way I would do. Now I would save this. You could always use this like to tie like a little bow with flowers, you know, to decorate with, or to make a little side border strip or a bottom border strip. There's things you can do with these things. So I would save that. I didn't really see anything to do with these scraps, not really. I mean, you could piece these together. I tell you what it immediately makes me think of, and y'all might think I'm crazy, but you know the Garden of the Gods in Colorado? I've been there a lot because my daughter lives there. It kind of does make me think of that. So you could do a little bottom border by piecing these together, maybe with some orangey paper at the bottom of your page, and it really does make me think of that. So I might save these scraps and use them on one of my Denver trips. You know, just there's amazing things that you can come up with your scraps. Sometimes I look at them and I have nothing, and then sometimes I can think of a lot of things to do with them. Okay, so I'm gonna get the border maker system out of the way. I'm done with that. Now I'm going to grab my trimmer. I just want about this much at the bottom because it's going to be covered up with grass. This will be where I put my adhesive, but I'm not even going to measure because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to mostly go underneath the green. The blade will always come right down right here on this left-hand side dotted line. So I'm good with that, and I'm just going to cut. And then I have my rustic fence. So now I'm going to... I want to grab my mat. I love using these mats when I'm using my tape runner. If you use the repositionable tape runner, I think these mats are a great thing to buy. And I really only pretty much use the repositionable tape runner now. I love it so much. This is why. When you're working with little things that are intricate and you want to put tape runner on the back, the repositionable tape runner comes out in little tiny clear dots, and it only sticks to where it needs to stick. If you work on this mat, it kind of repels the excess, so the excess tape doesn't get on your table. And if you want one of these mat sets, it comes in a set of 3. Let me know. I can order that for you. It's not something you see on the website, but it is something that I can order for you as an advisor and direct ship to you. Okay, so let me grab my repositionable tape runner, and I need a new one. So I'm going to open this box, and I want to pull this. This stays like this when it's stored because it keeps the sticky from getting, actually it goes like that. It keeps the sticky stuff from getting on other things in your containers. Move it back like this when you're ready to use it. Now, I explained all of that about putting the tape runner on the back of this. I'm not going to put tape runner on the back here yet. What I do want to do is just put some repositionable tape runner right here because my green is going to stick right over that brown at the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to place this over it just so that the fence peeks out past the green hilly grass like that, and then just press it down to stick it, kind of rub it a little bit. Now all I need to do is cut my autumn leaves right here. Let's set this aside, grab this. Now we're going to use the autumn leaves border punch. These work differently than the border maker system. It's stored flat like this. You move this to open it up, and you place your paper inside there. There's like a slit. Start on that black line right there that's closest to you. I use this in this way, like facing this way. This is my right hand, and this is like right in front of me. So I start at that black line right there. Make sure it's straight right here. Hold it really firm with your thumb and give it a punch. Now pull your design down. This blue right here is the design you just cut out. So you want to completely cover that blue with what you just cut out so that all you see is silver. And that's when you know it's time to do your next punch. And I like to clear my scraps out after every punch or two because it helps to keep them from getting stuck up in there and clogging things up. Okay, so I'm going to hold it firm, make sure it's straight, very important. My design is covered up down here, and punch. I'm going to show you one more time. Bring it down, match your design, make sure it's straight, hold it down to keep it straight, and punch, and just continue that until you do the whole thing, scooping away your scraps. Match it up and punch. Okay, so now I have my row of autumn leaves. I'm going to look at my scraps to see if there's anything I can do with them, and I don't really think so. I'm going to throw those away. All right. I like to keep a bin down here, like a big plastic square bin that I can just scoop my scraps off into easily. Okay, now I put it together. It's super easy. So now all I have to do, and I'm going to grab this other mat that comes with the set. This is really designed for borders, but sometimes I just grab the bigger one. This smaller one would be for cards and smaller things. But I'm going to flip this over, and on the back, gently put my repositionable tape runner. Now, when you're working with this, with our designer paper, it's thinner than cardstock. So you want to be gentle with it so it won't fold and bend on you. So I want to make sure I get a little bit of tape runner on the back of each leaf. So I'm just going to put it on little dabs. Try to grab those little stems so they'll stick down. Maybe put a dab or 2 or 3 on the back of each leaf, trying to get the edges pretty well. And if you see what I mean, I'm using this. You can't even see it because it comes out in transparent dots. And the excess that comes, that would normally come off on what's behind it just stays here because these silicone mats repel it. I'm going to go grab my little edges a little bit better, the little stems. I don't think I got them too good over there. So now all I do to finish this border is put my autumn leaves here. Now, I'm looking at this thinking, I like it okay. I do, but I might want I'm going to move these autumn leaves up a little bit. And then you just want to gently rub each one to make it stick down. But I think, just looking at this, I might want my grass not to be quite so wide. So sometimes I just look at things and figure it out as I go. So I'm going to make that a little bit skinnier. I'm going to match the bottom of it up with the edge. Let me grab my scissors. With this edge of this gray mat, I think that's where I think it would be good to cut. And by doing this, I'm also going to show you another feature of this trimmer. So I'm lined up at the edge of that gray mat strip. I'm going to close it. There's this awesome little transparent thing at the top and at the bottom. Normally, they just kind of stay tucked away in there, and most people don't even realize they're there, but they're really great. Pull it out. It has a little black line right there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's see-through and you can see the black line. And I'm just going to go, see, I want to make sure that I don't cut off that little bottom of that leaf, all these little leaves. So I'm going to look at this, and it's going to show me exactly where my trimmer is going to come down. And it's not going to cut that off, so I'm good with that. If I saw that it was, I could lift this up and move it over to the left just a tiny little bit, and then I wouldn't cut the stems, you know, if it was not positioned right. But I'm good with it. So now I'm just going to cut, and I think I like that better. And y'all, I would save this because I could use this for a lot of things. So I save all my little strips. I'll probably use some, you know, on different videos that you'll see. And I'm really good with that. I really like that. It was a super quick and easy border. On this, I just mounted it on top of our beige paper. And I'll show you how I did the tape runner on it. I can put it on the other side. So I would do this on the back, on my mat, or on my border mat. You can use either one, whichever one's most handy. Let's do the border mat just because it really is for borders. It's smaller, easier to deal with. Okay, so when you use this repositionable tape runner, this pointy side goes down and then you pull toward you, and that's how it releases the tape. So I'm gonna just put, I want to make sure I get all the little fence pieces pretty well so they'll all stick down. So I'm going to go slow and really gentle with it and just kind of pull it toward me to make sure I get a little bit of tape runner on the back of all those little fence pieces. And then I'm going to grab the ends too with a little bit of tape runner and maybe a little piece on each side. Okay. And then I can move that out of the way. Then I can mount my border on the bottom of this beige cardstock. Now I know, and then I would just rub it down to make it stick. I'm not going to do that though, because I'm actually going to show you something else to do with it. So you could do this on, well, let's stick it down. Sorry, I changed my mind as I go. I know. So it's stuck down, and I would show you what I would do next. I would take my album. I love this chocolate covered album for fall. I think it's beautiful. It's just a good classic color. And I would put this inside a pocket page, a top loading pocket page. Now, when you get these, they come with white cardstock in them. I'm just going to take that out because I'm going to replace it with beige cardstock, and I'll save this and I'll just use it like white cardstock, or I would just do another page on it if I wanted a white page. Then I would just slip this down in here like this. And then that's how I would use it in my Creative Memories album. And I love our albums, how they lay flat. You can mix and match your pages. I've got regular pages mixed with top loading pages, mixed with Spargo pages. Now I'll show you another way you could use this border. If you didn't want to use the top loading pages, I'm going to take this all out. And for a while after you use that repositionable tape runner, it is still pliable and movable. So I'm going to move it off, and then over time it settles down and it's not so easy to take apart. But you could just mount it directly on your page. I love these Spargo pages. I'm going to lift this up so you can see it a little better. These are actually my favorites more than white. I just love that it's got like that subtle neutral look that's a little bit speckly, so it gives it a little look of texture. But I'm going to mount this down here at the bottom of my Spargo page and just make sure it butts right up to that jeeping. That's the edge. It's what we call the edge. And then this border is actually just at the bottom of my page. Gently rub it, all the little pieces to make it stick. And then it's just on a page that fits in my book. And then, of course, you could put your pictures here however you like. You could add a little title. You could do a 2-page spread where you do 2 of these. I tend to do 2-page spreads. I like to open it and sort of see that everything goes together. So if it were me, I probably would do another identical one, put it over here, and then maybe put a little title here, put my pictures, and maybe a little journal box here. I hope y'all enjoyed that. And again, that is the Autumn Cottage Collection, the Rustic Fence Border Maker Cartridge. I used the straight blade with the trimmer, and I used the decorative trimmer, which I call the Wavy trimmer, and the repositionable tape runner. Thanks for watching my video, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day.